Molly Chen had always been the smart one. At 15, she'd won the regional science fair twice, maintained a 4 gigapascals, and spent her weekends reading philosophy and writing essays about existentialism for fun. Her teachers called her college material. Her parents called her their little scholar. But Molly also felt invisible. She watched other girls at school command attention effortlessly. They posted on TikTok and Instagram, collecting likes and comments like currency. When they spoke, people listened. When Molly spoke about Kant or quantum physics, eyes glazed over. One Friday night, alone in her room, Molly made a decision. She'd spent years building her mind, but maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe she needed to be seen differently first, and then people would care about what she had to say. The video took 15 minutes to film. She wore clothes from the back of her closet, posed in ways she'd seen other girls pose, and posted it before she could change her mind. Then she went to bed, heart pounding. By Monday morning, everything had changed. "Yo, Molly," Marcus called out in the hallway, a guy who'd never spoken to her before, but his eyes didn't meet hers. They traveled down, then back up, and his smile made her skin crawl. In AP English, when she raised her hand to discuss the symbolism in The Handmaid's Tale, Mrs. Patterson called on her as always. But Molly could feel the boys in the back row snickering. Later, she'd find the screenshots they'd taken of her video, shared in group chats with comments. The video had gone viral in her school. 10,000 likes. Comments flooded in, but none were about her thoughts or ideas. Nobody asked about her essay on Simone de Beauvoir. Nobody cared that she'd just been accepted to a prestigious summer program at MIT. "Hey, intellectual," Jake said at lunch, sliding into the seat across from her. "I never knew you had that side to you." Molly tried to steer the conversation to the robotics competition she was preparing for. Jake's eyes wandered to his phone, where she could see he'd pulled up her TikTok profile. "Yeah, cool," he said absently. "You should post more stuff like that first one." The darkness crept in slowly at first. Molly tried to post other content, explaining scientific concepts, discussing books, sharing her art. The views barely broke 100. But that one video kept circulating, kept defining her. College boys from the local university started following her. Men in their 20s, 30s, sending messages that made her delete the app and reinstall it and delete it again. None of them mentioned her perfect SAT score or her research on renewable energy. She lay awake at night, staring at her ceiling, feeling the weight of a mistake that couldn't be unmade. The internet never forgot. She'd tried to delete the video, but it lived on in screenshots, in reposts, in the permanent record of other people's phones. At debate club, where she'd once been captain, the boys treated her differently now. When she made arguments, she caught them exchanging glances, smirking. Her teammate David interrupted her mid-sentence during practice. "Maybe you should stick to what you're good at, Molly," he said, and the implication hung in the air like poison. She stopped going to debate club. Her college essay sat unfinished on her laptop. How could she write about her intellectual journey when she'd reduced herself to something else entirely? The recommender her English teacher had promised seemed to come with new hesitation. "Perhaps you should ask someone else," Patterson said gently. "I want to write something strong for you, but I need to feel confident about who I'm recommending." The worst part wasn't the boys who saw her as a body to pursue, though that was terrible enough. The worst part was the girls who looked at her with disappointment or anger, who whispered in the bathroom, who uninvited her from study groups. The worst part was her mother's face when a friend's parent showed her the video. The worst part was knowing she'd done this to herself. Molly started having panic attacks. She'd see someone looking at their phone and wonder if they were watching her, judging her, sharing her. She stopped raising her hand in class. She requested to be homeschooled. Late one night, she wrote in her journal, "I thought I could control how people saw me. I thought if I could just get their attention first, they'd stay for my mind. But you can't build respect on a foundation of disrespect. You can't be taken seriously when you've asked not to be. I gave them permission to see me as less, and now I can't take it back. I am so much more than that video, but that video is all anyone will see. The anguish lived in her chest like a stone. Every scholarship application felt tainted. Every new person she met carried the fear that they might Google her name and find it. That 15-minute choice had colonized her future, squatting in every opportunity, every relationship, every moment she tried to reclaim herself. Molly was still brilliant, still kind, still full of ideas that could change the world. But she'd learned the cruelest lesson, that in the court of public opinion, you never get to give your opening statement twice.